Welcome
to Part 2!
Episode 2.
This is episode 2. We got so much good stuff for you guys today. We're going to talk about the 3 top jobs to have while you are smoking weed.
And Bob Marley, of course.
And we have a special movie review and a perfect horoscope for all you weed heads out there from my favorite man who smokes weed all day long and sits on a couch
every day. Probably the biggest. I've never seen anybody smoke as much weed as this guy did.
Eric Ingram.
The Eric Ingram.
Stoner of the Year Award, High Times, 1986. We are going to talk right now.
He got 6 leaves out of 7 review for the Best Smoker Award.
It was
very impressive.
One of the biggest hits off this glass bong. I remember the first time I smoked with Eric Ingram, we were sitting around, we had nothing to do. And it's funny that I can talk about this now because I have a can right here. I said, what are we going to smoke out of? And he pops this can down like this. And he grabbed...
Yep, I remember.
And normally you would think that someone was going to grab like a safety pin or maybe a little knife, cut some holes in there. He grabbed a weed stem and he sharpened it with his tooth. And he sharpened it so hard that it stuck through here. And he stuck it in there. He pulled out one of the 24 karat gold papers we were talking about and he used it as a little... it was a screen.
A little screen.
A screen. Of course it burnt and it didn't work at all. And we actually, it fucked up the whole night. But he's a great guy, and we're going to talk about him today. Michael wanted to talk about B. Mar, so...
I'll talk about B. Mar, but first I want to say, what I would have done. This is my first reaction to the melted screen. Since it was gold, I would have melted it down, made a blade, so I could chop up the weed more fine, and thus I would just, maybe inhale it like snuff or something, just maybe if you eat it or, put it up your nose or something.
If you eat it, you get a more stronger high. But it takes a long time to hit you. It's like some really intelligent creeper that you don't want to deal with. You eat it, and 6 months later you're stoned at your mom's birthday, and you are tripping out.
Yeah, you're like, well, where the fuck did that come from? Yeah. And then you're daydreaming. You're like, holy shit, that golden knife that I melted down and made into a blade to cut the weed up. And smoked it, and or snorted, or ate it.
Shit, let's get to our movie review. Today we're going to hit all of our juggalo veins. We are going to be the hatchet men of the new millennium. We are going to talk about Dark Carnival. We are going to talk about Dark Lotus. We are going to talk about...
Booyah! Big money hustlers.
This movie stars Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope in a hot, action-filled crime case with a lot of fat titties and a lot of great things in it. A lot of very good production. You can see right here that it's written very well.
It's quality DVD.
Tons of graphics right there. You can really see what's going on here. Harland Williams stars in this. I'm going to give it 4 weed leaves out of 5.
I'll say that, but also I'll give it maybe 6 resin balls out of 7, because with the resin it burns slower and it stays with you a little longer. This movie is I think it's always going to stay with me. Now let's talk about. The man. We'll miss you. Bob Marley.
First story I want to talk about Bob Marley is this. It's been a myth, but I had a chance to sit down with Bob Marley, a few years ago.
You told me about that.
Yeah, some people say it wasn't really him, but I swear to God that he was at least alive in 2004 because I was at the B. Marley Fest in Denver, and we were actually there. And what we did, he came up to me and said, "Oh my God, you look like my biggest fan." And I said,
"Oh, it's an honor."
I said, "Oh my God, you look like Bob Marley, but you've been dead." And he said, "Smoke my dreadlock and see if I've been dead." And I said, "Yes, sir. You can't deny Bob Marley." And I smoked his dreadlock, and it lasted. I still have the roach from that dreadlock. And I mean, I buried it. Yeah, I buried it in my backyard to try and grow a dread plant, but nothing's happened yet. I'm praying that the soul of Bob Marley, which is still alive in Denver in 2004, 5 years ago, that it grows. But I know you have something else about Bob Marley. He holds a sort of special thing with him.
I feel some cosmic connection. His birthday is February 6th.
Who doesn't though? Mine's
December 10th. We're pretty. I just feel like when I wake up in the morning, sometimes I hear that get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. I hear that in the morning sometimes. It's fucked up, but I think we're just brothers. Same soil, different tree. Just
dreadlock tree.
I'm saving my money up for dreads, just so hopefully with a small donation from you, the viewer, you could contribute to us. You know, we're going to have to, you know, save to get our dreads. I'm going to start small. So in about 7 years, you know, it'll be like maybe here, you know, just all over the place. Real respectable. Employers love it.
I love it.
The public loves it.
I know this time we've all been waiting for. We want to talk to one of our special guests. His name's Eric Ingram. He's going to tell us exactly what's going on in the weed world today. So we're going to talk to him real quick. So give us 1 second.
Fuck. Just high, getting high, blazing. Weed is good. I was really high, and I came up with this invention. It's a bong, but it takes the excess heat, and you can use it, mash up a bunch of Cheetos, and then the heat bakes the Cheetos into like a bread that you put peanut butter on. Hell yeah.
Well,
thanks so much, Eric. That was
you heard it from the man himself.
Eric Ingram!
Whoa!
So, I know we're running short on time, but I wanted to touch a subject that someone actually wrote me a comment on my last video. His name was Christopher Popovich, and he wrote, "I've heard about weed crystals. How much do they cost? How are they? Are they worth anything?" And I said,
of course.
If you're smoking them, baby, they're worth everything. They're worth the world. So with that note, we're going to take it out. Cameras out. See you next week.